Hey guys, so I haven't done a little video in a while, and working down here in the basement. It's winter time. It's really cold outside here in Georgia today. It's not supposed to get above freezing here for like 80 hours straight. So it's only like 20 something degrees outside, and it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But taking the rest of the afternoon off from working and working back down in your basement, finishing a job that I've been working on. So we've been in the house now for about 2.5 years, and one thing that I noticed last winter is that my radon levels started to get higher and higher and higher. And we ended up having a radon mitigation system installed right before Christmas this year because while my radon levels were not like super high, they were higher than 4 picocuries per liter, I think is what the thing is. So I back a few months ago, I got one of these AirThings monitors. This is a long-term monitor. And as you can see, the long-term average is 4.94. And the short-term one-day average now is 3.75. And the 7-day average is 3.94. So now we're under 4 picocuries per liter. The numbers have been coming down. I am going to get the Radon company back to modify this a little bit because what we ended up doing is coming in underneath the stairs here and putting a penetration right there underneath the stairs. And then because this is like a closet, future closet right here, we kind of came up inside of that, and then we came across, and then we're punching out the wall, and then we're going underneath the deck and then coming up and going out, vertically once we clear the deck. One thing that is creating is I am getting condensation in that pipe that I have to drain like every 2 days because this warm, moist air, as it makes that horizontal run out to the basement or out underneath the deck before it goes vertical, it's collecting moisture in that horizontal pipe because it's condensing on that cold pipe. Working on some sort of drain solution. Unfortunately, when we came out the wall here, because the foundation wall sits as high as it does, we actually had to go down a little bit and then turn to go out. So when we go down just a little bit, you end up creating this low section, and the water that gets in the pipe can't drain back down into the ground. It has to end up going that way. So we pitched the pipe down at the end, and I screwed a little drain in the very end of the pipe, right at because it's all kind of pitched towards where it goes vertical, and then I'd screwed a hole, and then I threaded in a bolt in there as like a drain, and I take that out and let it drain out every few days. Really annoying, but I'm working on a solution for that. But one of the things I'm doing is sealing all the way around the perimeter of the basement, the slab to wall connection. I have a few minor cracks that I might attempt to seal up, but honestly, I think it's going to be more trouble than it's worth. This is probably, like, we've got one here that, these are just shrinkage cracks. Ignore that. That's where the HVAC guys mapped out their layout. But, this little crack here, and then there's another one similar size underneath the steps over there, and then there's one over there in the shop. So very minimal cracking in the slab. But the biggest area where that radon can get through is that crack between the slab and the walls. So I'm running around the perimeter and sealing all of that up. I first started using Sikaflex, and that was a mistake. I got the self-leveling Sikaflex here, and that gap is too small to put backer rod in. So what was happening is all that Sikaflex was just dripping down. The self-leveling stuff was dripping down in that gap and, leaving a big gap. And I was using an enormous amount of Sikaflex to try to fill it to the top, which I needed something better that would bridge the gap between the two. So as you can see over here, I've got a lot of Sikaflex here. Eventually, when this basement gets finished, this will all get covered up. We'll frame out a wall in front of this and all that. So that'll all get covered up. It's no big deal. And then over here, you can see where the gray stops, because this was not cracked at all. Like, in terms of, there was no gap at all between the slab and the wall. So I'm working my way around the perimeter, having to move stuff out of the way in the process. And what I'm using now is Sashco's product called Slab. So I'm using Sashco Slab. And this is great. It sticks to the concrete really good. It stretches, it bridges the gap between, as you can see, I just laid that bead down there. It bridges the gap between the crack and the slab wall crack. So basically my process is, as you can see, I'm moving things as I move around. So I got to move all this plywood here, run up underneath there. I'm vacuuming out the crack as I go and then running a bead and then kind of working my way all the way around. So I'm going to just work my way all the way around the basement. So far I'm averaging, I've gone through 3 tubes, starting from here all the way to there. So I'd say that's probably 50 lineal feet. I've used 3 tubes, so I'm probably going to need to go get more. I bought a case. I bought 12 tubes. Probably not going to have enough to do the whole basement, but that's okay. I can go back to Lowe's and get some more. I should have used this stuff to begin with rather than the Sikaflex, but it is what it is. So yeah, that'll keep that radon gas from migrating up between the slab and the walls and getting into the basement. So between that and then having the fan in place, when I do have them come back, I think part of the problem that we're having too is that because there's 2 footings over here, so to kind of show you here, this is the staircase right here. Let me turn on this light. So this is the staircase. There's a footing here under this wall. There's also a footing here under this wall. And then there's a big long footing that goes all the way to here. So what I think is happening is, maybe based on the way it was excavated with the gravel and stuff, the air is probably not, they're not getting enough flow. So what I think we're going to end up having to do is make another penetration in the slab. If what I'm doing doesn't drop the levels, we'll have to make another penetration in the slab. In hindsight, I should have done like a passive radon system under the basement, but I just really wasn't thinking about it at the time, and that's okay. But I think we may have to maybe do a penetration like what I was looking at it yesterday. We could probably Y into that pipe, come across there, go right. There's about an 8-inch gap between the end of that LVL and the wall. Come through that little hole right there, and then actually come down over here in this corner out. You have to come out past the slab a little ways and come out and maybe capture this whole area, because you do have a big wide open space here, because there's a strip footing here under this wall, and then there's also a footing here underneath this LVL. So under this LVL, there's a footing that runs all the way along here, where they dug it out, 24 inches wide, and I forget how many inches deep, probably 18 inches deep. And when they poured the slab, it monolithically poured the footing in with the slab all at the same time. So anyways, we'll keep working on this and see how if it reduces the radon levels. I can't attest. They say that that radon is the number 1 cause of lung cancer outside of smoking. And after having gone through what my son went through with the type of brain cancer he had and the type of mutations that he had with his brain cancer, he had an EGFR mutation with his brain tumor. We're actually coming up on about a month from now will be the year anniversary of his death. But I learned a lot about EGFR mutations, which is the most common mutation in lung cancer. And a lot of these people in this group, we're in a Facebook group for one of the drugs that he was on, Tagrisso, and it targets specifically EGFR mutations in lung cancer. And a lot of those people that were in that group never smoked a day in their life, but yet they got stage 4, stage 3 lung cancer and were put on this drug. Some of them have passed, some of them are still alive. So, was it from radon? Maybe. Was it from other things? I don't know. But I mean, for, cost me $1,600 to put in the radon mitigation. I had a company put it in for me, $1,650 for them to do it, plus, you know, a few $100 for me to seal the perimeter of the basement. If I can cut down those radon levels, maybe it's worth it. I mean, nobody wants to have lung cancer. So, and after having gone through brain cancer with our son, I wish that on no one. So not taking any chances. For a couple grand, basically total out of pocket, I can hopefully nip that in the bud. So anyways, guys, that's all I have for today. So see ya.